This struggling giant squid was hooked by the fisherman, looking incredibly appetizing. Yet the fisherman threw it back into the sea without batting an eye. They had prepared a whole bucket full of such giant squids, each weighing several kilograms, spending $8,000 just on bait. Now the excitement begins. Would they make a profit today? After casting the bait, all they needed was to ride their small boat and search for targets on the sea surface. Fishing in such a beautiful environment was truly enjoyable. Soon, a buoy started dancing, and the fisherman swiftly grabbed it, expertly starting to reel in the line. The smooth movement suggested something was on the hook that refused to be easily reeled in. 3 minutes later, a golden fish emerged, a catch that might just fulfill their craving. With this grouper in the hold, they successfully landed their first catch of the day. This grouper weighed at least a few kilograms and was worth a few $100, enough to cover this week's fuel costs. The fishermen hadn't finished celebrating when another buoy on the opposite side began moving. They impatiently grabbed the line, eager to see what they caught. Underwater, it seemed like a nimble small white fish, but pulling it up revealed a sizable Napoleon wrasse with its mesmerizing blue mouth and pectoral fins. Despite its beauty, the fisherman's expressions didn't show the expected joy, because Napoleon wrasses are protected species, strictly off limits, even in the resource-rich Philippines. Reluctantly, they unhooked it, losing a valuable fish and wasting their bait money. A bitter outcome. However, catching such a fish could lead to jail time, so they could only watch their precious catch disappear into the depths. The water here is so clear, you can see fish swimming deep enough to cast shadows. It's truly enviable. After bidding farewell to the Napoleon wrasse, the fishermen quickly moved on to the third buoy. This buoy's movements were bigger than the previous two. Standing out on the sea surface, the fishermen eagerly reeled in their line, hoping to make up for their previous loss. But when a familiar white silhouette appeared, their hearts sank. When it finally surfaced, the fishermen were completely taken aback. Another Napoleon wrasse, even bigger than the last one. Such a sight was rare even in the Philippines, and to endangered species in a day seemed like fate. Offering a few snapshots for visual pleasure, they had lost 3 giant squids so far but had only 1 catch. This made the fishermen a bit anxious. Releasing a large fish was akin to throwing away hard-earned money. They increased their speed, seeking another target, now hoping for anything but a Napoleon wrasse. Soon, they spotted a buoy rapidly drifting on the surface, indicating fast-moving fish below. Renewing the fishermen's hope, they pulled up the line, which must have been tens of meters long. However, after a hard pull, they were surprised to find an empty hook. This disappointment left the fishermen scratching their heads. Were they destined to end the day empty-handed? But until the final moment, no one could predict the outcome. When they found the 5th buoy, they saw it dancing on the sea, indicating a lively big fish below. This sparked hope again in the fishermen, who struggled to reel in the buoy. It's said that 1 pound of fish takes 10 pounds of effort. So how big was this fish that had tired out the fishermen so much? As the fishing line slowly came back, a golden figure appeared faintly on the surface. It turned out to be another grouper. Was this big mouth going to swallow the camera? And this one was even bigger than the previous one. Full of fight and unwilling to surrender, despite multiple failed attempts, the fishermen felt immense joy pulling it aboard. Don't even talk about this first-person view. I already feel like I'm swimming in its stomach. After tossing it into the hold, the fishermen were overjoyed. Fortune had finally turned. The first grouper they caught seemed large, but it was nothing compared to this one. They had not only recovered the cost of the bait, but also made a profit. The fishermen set sail again with renewed spirits. Who knew what the next surprise might be? And yet again, it was another grouper. Were these fish conspiring to be caught together today? This one was a giant, making today's haul a 3-generation collection of groupers. Seeing this large grouper acting up, the mischievous fishermen lifted it up and spun it around. Once it was thoroughly dizzy, they threw it back into the hole to reunite with its companions. And so, all the buoys of the day were collected, despite coming up empty once and releasing to fish. Every catch was a big one, the fishermen calculated in their minds. They had secured 3 months' worth of food expenses. But how much could these fish sell for? They loaded the big fish into baskets and took them to market. As they were weighed, the result startled them. 3 groupers together weighed 20 kilograms. In China, catching a 2-kilogram fish would be considered good. But now the boss told them these 3 groupers were only worth just over 8,000 Philippine pesos combined. Groupers vary in quality. For instance, this fish was less than 5 feet in length and only $30 per pound. In other words, this entire trip was like working in vain. Though disappointed, these fishermen, who rely on the sea for their livelihood, are used to the unpredictable nature of fishing and can only hope for better luck next time. Stay tuned, and I'll take you to discover new horizons every day.